Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings. My name is Ahmad Salman Syahid. My student identification number is 17076200042. On this occasion, I will present a report on the results of my fieldwork practice at the Directorate of Vocational High Schools for a period of 5 months. Next. This is where I, as a practitioner's place of execution. Institution is Directorate of SMK Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. It is located at Jalan Jenderal Sudirman, RT 1 RW 3, Gelora, Tanah Abang District, Central Jakarta City, Special Capital Region of Jakarta, 10270. The telephone number is 021-573-1063, and email is vocational@kemdikbud.go.id, and the website is http://smk.kemdikbud.go.id. Next, please. Now I will briefly explain about the profile of Directorate of Vocational High School. First, we're going with the history of Kemdikbudristek. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, atau Kemdikbudristek, is a government institution in Indonesia responsible for managing the education system, preserving culture, and promoting research and technology development. In education and culture, in 1945, the Indonesian government established the Ministry of Education and Culture as the institution in charge of educational and culture. In 1998, the ministry changed its name to the Department of Education and Culture. In 2010, the Department of Education and Culture transformed into the Ministry of Education and Culture, or as we call it, Kemdikbud. In research and technology, in 1962, the National Research Institute, or LIPI, was formed as the institution responsible for scientific research in Indonesia. In 1973, the Department of Research and Technology, or DEPRISTEC, was established to oversee research and technology development activities. In 2001, DEPRISTEC changed its name into Department of National Research and Technology, or DEPRISTECNAS. In 2009, DEPRISTECNAS merged with the Department of National Education to form the Ministry of National Education and Research Technology, or as we call it, Kemendiknasristek. And in 2020, the ministry was renamed the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology, or Kemendikbudristek. Kemendikbudristek. In 2020, Indonesian President Joko Widodo merged the Ministry of Education and Culture with the Ministry of Research and Technology and added responsibilities related to innovation and technology development. Since then, Kemendikbudristek has been the institution responsible for managing the education system, preserving culture, conducting research, and promoting technology development in Indonesia. And History Directorate General of Vocation. The Directorate General of Vocation Educational, or as we call it, Direktorat Jenderal Vokasi, is a government agency in Indonesia that focuses on the development and management of vocational education and training programs. In early development, vocational education in Indonesia has a long history with the establishment of various vocational schools and programs dating back to the Dutch colonial era. Directorate of Vocational Education. Directorate of Vocational Education was initially established as a part of the Ministry of Education and Culture in the 1970s. The transformation into the Directorate General of Vocational Education in 2015, the Directorate of Vocational Education was elevated to the status of Directorate General, becoming the Directorate General of Vocational Education. And in the expansion and reforms in recent years, the Directorate General of Vocational Education has undertaken significant efforts to expand and improve vocational education in Indonesia. And for the last alignment with industry needs, the Directorate General of Vocational Education has been actively working to align vocational education programs with the needs of industries and the labor market. This involves partnership with industries, the establishment of non-industries, vocational schools, and the implementation of work-integrated learning and apprenticeship programs. And for the history of SMK Directorate or High School, Directorate of Vocational High Schools, atau Direktorat Sekolah Menengah Kejuruan, is a government agency in Indonesia that focuses on the development and management of vocational high school education. In the early development, the establishment of vocational high schools in Indonesia can be traced back to the early 2020s century during the Dutch colonial era, and into the integration into the national education system following Indonesia's independence in 1945. vocational high schools began to integrate it into the national education system. Directorate of Vocational Education, which oversaw vocational schools at all levels, including vocational high schools, was established in the 1970s. And now evolutioning and recent forms. In recent years, the Directorate of SMK has undergone reforms to enhance the quality and relevance of vocational high school education. Next. Vocational High School Directorate also has a vision and mission. The vision is the Ministry of Education and Culture supports the presidential visions and mission to realize a advanced Indonesian that is sovereign, independent, and personality through the creating of Pancasila students who are critically reasoning, creative, independent, faithful, following God Almighty and noble, cooperation, and huge global. And the mission is realize relevant and high quality, equity, and sustainable education supported by infrastructure and technology, realizing the preservation and promotion of culture as well as the development of language and literature, and optimizing the participation of all stakeholders to support the transformation reform of the management of education and culture. And now about the institution structure. The Directorate General of Vocational Education has an organizational structure that consists of the Director General of Vocational Education, assisted by the Secretary of the Directorate General of Vocational Education. The Directorate General of Vocational Education also has 5 subdivisions, namely the Director of Vocational High School, where students undertake internships, the Director of Course and Training, the Director of Vocational Higher Education Academics, the Director of Institutional and Research for Vocational Higher Education, and the Director of Partnership and Alignment of the Business and Industrial World. In addition, there are external subdivisions under the auspice of the Directorate General of Vocational Education, namely state polytechnics and state communication academies with 49 work units, as well as the Center for Quality Assurance and Development of Vocational Education, BBPP-MPV, and BPP-MPV with 7 work units. Next. Business fields in Vocational High School Directorate. The Directorate of Vocational High Schools is led by a director who is under and responsible to the Director General. The Directorate of Vocational High School has the task of carrying out the formulation and implementation of policies in the field of vocational high schools and special service education in vocational high schools. In the field of work that was running, the trainee is placed, or me, is placed in the field of quality assurance and governance because this field aligns with the field of study pursued by the trainee, which is accounting and business. And this is my work implementation as long as I'm doing PKL. First is participating in an official business trip. The trainee is assigned to go on a business trip to discuss and plan activities. During the trip, me is responsible for taking notes on the overall progress of the meeting, acting as a spotlight assistant, and creating a report after the completion of the trip. Next. Next, I do make notes. Minutes writing. Minutes writing is the process of summarizing and recording important points during a meeting or event. Minutes typically include information about the discussed topics, decision made, follow-up action required, and other relevant details. Minutes are concise and brief to ensure that the recorded information can be easily understood. They serve as a reference or a sheet to recall the information discussed during the meeting. Next. And I also do make activity reports in the work implementation. Activity report is the process of summarizing and documenting the details of a specific event or project. It involves capturing key information such as the objective, activities conducted, outcomes achieved, challenges encountered, and recommendations for future improvement. The purpose of activity reporting is to provide a comprehensive overview of the event or project, communicate progress and results to stakeholders, and facilitate evaluation and decision-making process. The report is typically structured, organized, and presented in a concise and clear manner to ensure that the information is easily understandable and accessible into the intended audience. Next. And the next work I do is creating cover and virtual background for Zoom meeting progress. The purpose is of using virtual backgrounds in Zoom while working is to enhance visual appearance, and be more professional and professionalism and privacy during remote meetings. It also provides a distraction-free environment and ensures a consistent and polished image for a more engaging and professional virtual meeting experience. Next. In 5 months, while I do internships, there are constraints and solutions for the constraints. The constraint is at the beginning of implementing the street vendors practices or me experience difficulty communicating with other employees because practitioners need to adapt to the new environment. This is all about ineffective communication, and I found the solution. The solution is to overcome ineffective communication constraints. Is communication skills are a determining factor for the success of each individual, as well as the communication skill of a person in an organization are needed in every condition. For example, when preparing a business presentation, we should do it very well. Next. Next. In this step, I will explain about the gap theory with practice. But unfortunately, there is no gap between theory and practice that practitioners do, but practitioners experience difficulties in implementing theory in practice. But the theory that the practitioners have learned can still be implemented. Next. So that's it for my presentation. In conclusion is, by participating in a 5-month fieldwork practice, the trainee or me gains knowledge and experience to develop themselves and experience their working condition and environment. Me as the trainers understands the procedures involved in activities related to the quality assurance of vocational high school students, which they have previously learned in course, such as professional ethics, educational evaluation, and professional education and educator personnel. Me as a trainer, also able to experience direct communication within the real-world work environment and apply the knowledge acquired from courses, such as business communication, communication skills, and organizational behavior. Me as a trainer, also capable of performing tasks related to literacy, information, and digital devices based on the knowledge gained from courses such as information and digital literacy. And lastly, I'm familiar with the government assistance procedures for vocational high school through the study of subjects like business negotiation, banking and financial institution, and also taxation. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I will see you soon. Bye.